Dave Dragovich, report each week, covers all the action for the NASCAR Weekly Dodge Racing Series. If you want to tune in every Monday night to Rapid on Racing, and here's Dave Dragovich and his asphalt report that comes to you.
Okay, Mike.
Bruce Hamilton. Tagging the tail of this first heat race event will be Al Civic from Wall, Pennsylvania in the 94.9. This heat race is 8 laps in distance in preparation for tonight's Smale Pontiac GMC 20-lap modified feature. Green flag waves and we're underway for heat race number 1. Bacalon in the 98.3 leads a 3-wide battle for second with the points leader Gary Scott diving to the inside. And the number 5 machine taking to the top side. One of the many racing Nicolas here at MOTORDROME Speedway. Pole sitter Opfer is back to 4th. John Perbanich in the 5th spot, but out front it's all Mike Bacalon. Bacalon, a veteran driver with pure stock experience for several years before moving into the Smale Pontiac GMC open wheel modifieds. Mike Bacalon leading Gary Scott. Bacalon with 1 feature victory so far this season at MOTORDROME. Scott with a 2-point lead in the championship chase in this division. Scott is a 3-time feature winner. And he's got Jim Nicola in the 5 machine all over his back bumper. 3 cars breaking away now from Opfer and Perbanich. This time by halfway through. 4 laps completed, 4 laps remaining in the first heat race for the Smale Pontiac GMC open wheel modifieds. Bacalon led much of last week's feature event. He does have 1 victory on the season, but he failed to find victory lane last week. This time at the line he will lead lap number 5 of this first heat race. Bacalon is currently 3rd in the point standing, so you've got 2 of the top 3 drivers in the championship chase of the division battling for the win in this heat race, with Jim Nicola tucked in behind them as a 3-car breakaway. Signal given to Bacalon this time, 2 laps remaining. To tail in the battle for the top 3 positions as the white flag waves over Mike Bacalon. Those 3 cars almost a straightaway ahead of the battle for the 4th position, but working the final lap here on the final leg of the Froggy Summer Series at MOTORDROME Speedway. The Froggy-sponsored 98.3 of North Versailles veteran Mike Bacalon heads down the front straightaway and will win this 8-lap heat race for the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds. Gary Scott finishing 2nd, Jim Nicola 3rd, pole sitter Harry Opfer in 4th, and John Perbanich completing the top 5. That'll be Adam Kostelnik. Kostelnik 2nd in the division point standings. That's the orange number 60 car outside of row number 2. Then back to the 32 machine of Matt Panay. Outside of him it'll be the 99 of Bo Glemba, who had a strong run last week. And then the duct tape numbered machine that you see at the rear of the field is Rick Huffman. That'll be scored as number 9. Rick Huffman starting scratch in this one. The car will be scored as number 9 as Huffman destroyed his machine in a violent crash here last week. But we're going to turn our attention to the lead. The 97 machine of George P. Nicola, last week's feature winner, taking the lead. Kostelnik falls into the 2nd spot. The pole sitter, Chris Dodds in the 47 car, now in jeopardy of losing 3rd to the high-flying Matt Smith in car number 3 as Smith closes the gap in the battle for 3rd down the back straight. Matt Smith in the top groove. 47 of Chris Dodds down below, side by side in the battle for third, as well as the battle for fourth. 32 of Matt Panay moving up through the field. That time by give the third position to car number 3 of Matt Smith. Up front, meanwhile, George P. Nicola, 4-time winner in 2004, leading Adam Kostelnik, a 5-time winner. Kostelnik second in the point standings coming into this event. He needs to gain 2 points on Gary Scott to claim the top position in the championship chase. Kostelnik in the Viglione Motorsports, number 60. The Viglione name long associated with auto racing in Pennsylvania and Ohio. Both the lead automobiles sticking to the bottom of the racetrack. Good handling race cars battling for the point position as we are halfway through. They will complete lap number 5 of 8 when they reach the stripe, this time on the front straight. Still George P. Nicola out in front, Adam Kostelnik in second. Matt Smith now a distant third. The lead battle represents 9 feature victories here at MOTORDROME Speedway in the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds this season, and there will be 2 laps to go for George P. Nicola. Nicola gets about a half a car length of breathing room between himself and Kostelnik that lap, but they play bumper tag in turns 3 and 4 as the white flag is waving. Adam Kostelnik in the second spot. George P. Nicola, your leader, working the final lap of heat race number 2 for the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds. There's a challenge for the lead, but Nicola slams the door on him. Kostelnik unable to take the bottom groove away in turn number 3, and the checkered flag will wave for George P. Nicola. Adam Kostelnik in the second spot. Matt Smith will finish third. Coming home in fourth, it's Matt Panay. And in the fifth spot, the 99 of Bo Glemba. That national championship in the weekly racing series presented by Dodge, starting on the pole for this one in car number 37. It will be Paul Urso. Outside of him, it will be the 11 machine of Bobby Henry. Inside row number 2, it's the veteran Larry Bahana in the 61 and car number 1 of Greg Kelly. Then it's back to the 51 of John Messenger, the 91 of Tommy Beck, who gets a great start. Car number 98, the Coors Light Silver Bullet machine of Neil Brown, is second in the point standings. Sean Pilla drives the 5 machine, and the 77 is Scott Alborn, as we are green flag and racing in the Falcone Dodge late models. These heat rates will have an impact on the starting lineup for tonight's Napa Auto Parts 100. Bobby Henry takes out to the early lead in car number 11. Bobby Henry led much of last week's feature event before he was passed by Rick Miller. 37 machine of Paul Urso riding in the second spot. Then it's back to Larry Bahana and Greg Kelly, and we're going to be almost 3 wide as they enter the front straight. 91 is Tommy Beck, 51 John Messenger down to the bottom, and Neil Brown in the 98. Those 3 cars battling fiercely for the 5th position. Messenger from Morgantown, West Virginia, has the 51 car on the bottom. Tommy Beck from Delmont, Pennsylvania, the orange machine up high. And then it's Neil Brown in the 98. Neil Brown, a 6-time feature winner at MOTORDROME this season, all over the back bumper of Messenger, while his teammate Bobby Henry pulls away with the lead, working lap 3. Brown makes contact with Messenger's back bumper once again, and now Sean Pila joins the battle in the 5. 4 cars in a nip and tuck fight for the 5th position. That time at the stripe, it was Tommy Beck in the 91 car who had the spot. He and Messenger side by side, and directly behind them, Neil Brown in the 98, and the 5 of Sean Pila. 4 cars under a blanket as they get the halfway signal. 5 laps down and 5 laps completed in the first heat race for the Falcone Dodge late models here on Napa Auto Parts night. Those 4 cars unable to break away from one another, while Bobby Henry extends his lead over Paul Urso, Larry Bahana, and Greg Kelly. Something has got to give in this battle as it's now 5 cars. Brandon Manns has joined the battle in the black 26 car. He shuffles the 5 machine back a spot. Now Tommy Beck from the high line retreats a couple of positions. Neil Brown takes to the top side now, challenging Messenger in the 51 car. Beck continues to have handling problems and falls back another spot. Neil Brown has now taken away the 5th position from John Messenger, and things finally cool down in that heated battle. Bobby Henry, all by himself out front, gets the signal for 2 laps to go. In second, it's Paul Urso in the 37, then the 61 of Larry Bahana, followed by the 1 of Greg Kelly, and then Brown in the 98. Neil Brown firmly in the points battle this season behind Rick Miller. He is second in the championship standings here in the Falcone Dodge late models, while the white flag waves for his teammate, your leader, Bobby Henry. Battle for 7th got heated for just a moment as Pila and Manns made contact in turn 4. This time, the checkered flag will wave. Connellsville's Bobby Henry wins heat race number 1 on Napa Auto Parts for the night for the Falcone Dodge late models. Paul Urso will grab the 2nd spot. Larry Bahana finishes 3rd. Greg Kelly just hangs on to the 4th spot over Neil Brown. Event by virtue of a redraw. On the point for this one, former Motordrome champion in car number 31, Mark Catone from McKeesport. Outside of him in car number 99, it's veteran Ben Miley from Venetia. Another former Motordrome champion in car number 95 is Gary Wiltrout, starting 3rd from Portview, Pennsylvania. Outside, another former Motordrome Speedway champion. The car number 68 is driven by Richard Mitchell from Brewston Mills, West Virginia. Inside row number 4, it's the 96 machine driven by Mark Poole. Then it's current and late model points leader at the Motordrome Speedway in car number 25, the Brooks Automotive Group machine of Rick Miller, last week's feature winner. Then we move back into the number 87 machine, as it will be scored tonight, driven by modified ace Gary Scott. And then we have the backup machine to the Komarinsky car, Jim Bryce. Truck driver Jim Bryce moving into the late models for tonight. And the Napa Auto Parts 100 as the green flag waves over our 2nd Falcone Dodge late model heat race. A collection of former Motordrome Speedway champions in this one. Mark Catone in the 31 out to the early lead. He's a 2-time track champion. Gary Wiltrout, the 2002 late model titleist, closes in on his back bumper. Then it's Ben Miley in 3rd. Miley will attempt to make his first 100-lap start on asphalt in the 99 car tonight. John Komarinsky in the 33 rides in 4th. Then side by side for the 5th spot, it's Mark Poole and Richard Mitchell as a battle for the lead in turn 3. Gary Wiltrout nearly on the grass in turn 3, takes the bottom line away from Mark Catone, and at the stripe, Wiltrout will lead lap 2. A pair of Ford Tauruses battling for the lead. Both are former champions of this speedway. Wiltrout now pulls away with a 3 or 4 car length lead. Miley now in 3rd. Mitchell up to 4th. Komarinsky in the 5th spot in the 33. There's another 4-car battle going on for the 4th spot. Rick Miller takes to the outside. Miller, last week's feature winner, has 6 checkered flags this season in feature event racing for the Falcone Dodge late models. And his car is taken to the top side of John Komarinsky. Richard Mitchell now in the 4th spot. Komarinsky, a long-time Motordrome racer, both on the dirt and the asphalt. In the Rolling Rock number 33 car, holds on to the 5th spot by just a nose over the advancing Rick Miller. Miller now gets the entire number 25 Lumina in front of Komarinsky, taking away the 5th position. Lead battle still a tight one, then some distance back to 3rd position, Ben Miley in the 99. Richard Mitchell in the 4th spot, and Rick Miller in the 5th position. Jim Bryce exits the event while we see the lead duo, Mark Catone in the 31 machine, the Edie's Ice Cream sponsored Ford, carrying the Napa Auto Parts logo in tonight's Napa Auto Parts 100 coming up later, and Gary Wiltrout, the 2002 late model division champion, another Ford Taurus, both of those drivers. Former titleist here at the Motordrome Speedway, as well as defending champion Rick Miller, who's challenging for 3rd. Miller and Miley ever so close together out of turn number 4, and Miller completes the pass in turn 1. Defending champion and last week's winner now up to the 3rd position. Top 3 drivers on the racetrack, all former Falcone Dodge late model champions. Ben Miley, the longtime veteran in the 99 car, Pink Panther they call him, holding on to 4th over Richard Mitchell. Mark Poole now sneaks under Komarinsky as well. The 96 machine, the Howard Concrete Products entry, returned to racing last week after he was injured in a NASCAR Weekly Racing Series accident just a few weeks back. White flag waving this time for Gary Wiltrout on lap number 9. He has now 1 car length advantage over Mark Catone as they head down the back straight. Cars now single file as they head for the checkered flag. 2002 late model champion, the Ford Taurus number 95 of Gary Wiltrout, wins the second heat race over the fast closing Mark Catone in the 31. Current points leader Rick Miller hangs on to third, Ben Miley in fourth, and Richard Mitchell completes the top 5. One of the participating Subway locations. We'll mention the rest of the contest details and name those Subway locations for you a little bit later on in tonight's show. Starting on the pole for this one, the 64 of Bill Henry. Outside of him, it's the 15 of Jonathan Heilman. Then we see the 34 car, driven by longtime veteran Rich Nicola. Outside of him, it's the 77 of Rich Burbage. Back to the last row for this heat race, the 4 of Vince Kiter. And the 44 of Sean Rick. Again, 8 laps the distance for the Subway Street Stocks heat race number 1. Henry and Heilman side by side for the lead, with Nicola tucked in the 3rd spot. Nicola pushing the 64 of Henry. Street stock racing at its finest, folks, as all the cars clustered together. It's going to be a 3-car lead battle here in just a moment, I believe, as the 64 of Bill Henry will be trying to hold off Rich Nicola and the 15 of Heilman. Heilman now slip, and Rich Burbage gets sideways. Heilman in the 15 car backing up a couple of positions, and Burbage nearly had to swerve around him in the 77 car. Burbage now challenging for third, and each time in the middle of the front straight, Bill Henry in the 64 car has a mirror full of Nicola as those cars are nearly touching each time they head down the front straight. One more time, Nicola just about pushing the 64 machine into turn number 1, working lap 3. The rear end of the 64 car seems to be sliding up a bit in turns 1 and 2, and that opens the door for the 34 of Nicola to take the bottom groove headed into turn number 3. Subway street stock action, nip and tuck side by side halfway through. 4 laps down and 4 remaining. Bill Henry still the leader by a couple of inches when they were at the stripe. But I think we may see a change on the scoreboard next lap as Nicola has half a car length ahead of Henry into turn number 3. Nicola almost completes the pass, and he will. Working lap number 5, new leader is Rich Nicola. Nicola's Subway Street Stock for sale. You see that sign as he heads past the main grandstand. Feature win tonight would be one heck of a sales pitch. Coming to life is Vince Kiter in the 4 machine as he passes the 77 of Burbage for the 4th spot. This time, Nicola will see the white flag indicating 1 lap remaining. Rich Nicola with 3 or 4 car lengths advantage here on the final lap over Bill Henry. Henry is 5th in the current point standings of the Subway Street Stocks. And in the final corner, another heat race win for the Ford of Rich Nicola in car number 34. Coming home in second, it's the 64 of Bill Henry. Jonathan Heilman in the 15, bringing it home in the 3rd spot. Vince Kiter in the 4 car finishes fourth. Could win the Subway Street Stock Challenge, earning each and every fan here tonight a 6-inch meatball sub from participating Subway locations. On the pole for this one in car number 74, it's Jason Holder. Outside of him, it's the 5 of Frank Turek, the current points leader. Inside row 2, it's the 36 machine, driven by Will Ashton. Then we find the 73 of Lonnie Hoffman. Final row is veteran Robin Rimmel in the Napa Auto Parts number 22 car. And then we see the 72 machine. Sorry, that's the 78 of Joe Hulp, as we will go another 8 laps in the Subway Street Stocks heat race number 2. Robin Rimmel in the Napa Auto Parts 22 car bangs into the rear bumper of Ashton. He wants to go on his sponsor's night. Rimmel, who lost lost a tire during last week's heat race event, had to start near the rear of the field. He charged up through to a good finish, but couldn't quite reach victory lane, and he was the Subway Challenge driver last week. Meanwhile, up front, points leader Frank Turek, a 7-time feature winner, leads this one over Stoystown's Jason Holder in the 74 car. Turek from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania in the 5 car. Couple of times this season he has won a sub for everybody in attendance. We'll see whose name is drawn a little later on tonight for the Street Stock Subway Challenge. Here on Napa Auto Parts Night, Robin Rimmel, the longtime veteran in car number 22, is challenging Ashton for the 3rd position. Rimmel has been racing for years and years and years, beginning in the pure stocks, then moving up to the street stocks. Always a Ford loyalist, as is the case with the Napa 22 again this season here at Motordrome. Rimmel has 4 feature victories on the season and is currently 2nd in the point standings to the man who's leading this heat. Turek leads the championship chase up front. Working the final lap now, leading over the 74 machine, driven by Holder. Rimmel takes away the 3rd spot as they head for the checkered flag. 7-time feature winner and current Subway Street Stock points leader Frank Turek takes the victory. Chrysler Jeep Pro trucks taking to the Speedway. 8-lap heat race. On the point for this one in truck number 69, it's Dave Merrow. Outside in the Germack Heating and Cooling 24 is last year's Rookie of the Year, Chantel Germack, the female pilot in the field. Then we find the 02 of Dan Lewis inside of the truck number 1 of Steve Black. Then it's back to Marion Reno Jr. in the 8, the 98.3 of Greg Kelly. Then we see truck number 50 of Chris Kossel, as well as the 51 truck, driven by Brandon Manns, one of the double-duty drivers, as we have problems in the middle of the field with the 50 of Kossel. Getting sideways, the 8 of Reno, and the 0 of Dave Brunell, able to avoid contact. We stay green flag racing. Paul Milowicki is the 14 truck completing this field. Out front, pole sitter Dave Merrow has about a 3-truck advantage over Chantel Germack in the 2nd spot. The 1 of Steve Black on the move under the 02 of Dan Lewis. Black and Lewis side by side in turn number 4, and Lewis has the 3rd spot again on lap number 2. But he may not have it for long as Greg Kelly in the 98.3 joins that battle. 3 trucks fighting for the 3rd spot in this 8-lap heat event for the Falcones Chrysler Jeep Pro Trucks. Close racing for the 3rd spot. The 1 of Steve Black on the inside, the 02 of Dan Lewis, who still maintains that position by inches each time at the line, and Greg Kelly in the 98.3, a double-duty driver here at Motordrome. Kelly in the froggy 98 7.3 machine also, of course, drives late model number 1. He will be competing in the Napa Auto Parts 100 coming up later. And Steve Black finally breaks through for third position using the low line. Lewis will even slip back one further as Kelly has not only taken away fourth, but is challenging for third. Kelly with the left front wheel touching the grass in turns 1 and 2, working lap number 5, challenges Black to the inside. Up front, Dave Merrow and Chantel Germack all by themselves in first and second, but Kelly now taking away the third spot. Froggy Truck is on the move as the Froggy Summer Series comes to a close tonight. Greg Kelly showing his sponsor that he can get the job done climbing through this field and riding in the third position now with 2 laps remaining. Dave Merrow in the 69 truck sees the white flag. Working turn number 4, taking the checkered flag in truck 69. It's Dave Merrow from Wall, Pennsylvania. Chantel Germack will finish in the second spot, and points leader Greg Kelly, the 5-time feature winner, taking the third spot away. Steve Black will finish in fourth, and Dan Lewis completing the top 5. Mike. In the 22 machine, starting from the pole, it will be Gene Greco from Scottdale, PA. Outside, I believe, will be the 6 of William Bone once the 2x2 formation is completed. The 05 is Andy Giles, and then back to the 5 of Bill Oldham. Green flag waves, 32 machine driven by Dan Jordan. The 50 car is driven by Ken Dukich, the current points leader in the American Flyer division, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. See the 39 of Al Minjock from Elizabeth, first-time competitor here at the Speedway, as well as Chuck Hall in the 67, another first-time visitor with us. 28 machine is driven by Larry Vance. 48 is Gary Ankrum. Affordable racing at its best. 34 of Aaron Minjock out in front. Aaron Minjock and the Minjock Racing Team bringing a second car out this evening. That's the 39 driven by Al, and there's heavy contact in turn number 4. We're going to have a caution. Al Minjock, the first-time visitor we were just speaking of, makes contact with the front straight wall, but it's the 28 car of Larry Vance. And to return to green flag racing in the Advance Auto Parts American Flyers with 1 lap completed of 5. 34 machine, Aaron Minjock, your leader. His teammate just had a slight incident there in his first time out. Al Minjock, one of the cars involved in that caution flag. Hey, look at the 5 of Bill Oldham coming on strong in the second spot. He has a feature victory here this season and is second in the point standings. Closing in on the leader is the 5 of Oldham. And the Napa Auto Parts number 22 car of Gene Greco holds on to third. Feeling a challenge now from Dan Jordan in that third spot as they light up the brake lights in turns 1 and 2. Jordan takes the third position away as the lead battle develops down the back straight. Minjock tried to block the inside lane on the back straight, couldn't do it, and the 5 of Oldham on the move and taking the lead in turn number 4. 2 laps remain for the Advance Auto Parts American Flyer Heat Race. Oldham taking over the lead from Minjock. The 32 of Dan Jordan is the man on the move as he's closing in for second. Entry-level NASCAR weekly racing at the Motordrome Speedway. Look at that 32 machine. Dan Jordan, driver from Connellsville, closing in as the white flag waves. A battle of Cavaliers in the second spot. No, not the Cleveland kind, the Chevy kind. They're going to be side by side down the back straight for the runner-up position as Oldham has probably got this one in the bag. Is Oldham maybe the only Buick machine on the Speedway? I believe he is, and he's going to take the checkered flag, but it's the battle for second where the 32 of Dan Jordan wins by a fender in that battle for the runner-up spot over the 34 of Aaron Minjock. Then it's the 6 of William Bone. 50 car driven by Ken Dukich, your points leader. Yellow Book Chargers taking to the Speedway now. The Yellow Book Chargers, who had a barn burner of a feature last week, this heat race will be 6 laps in distance, and it's last week's winner, Dave McManus, in the 17 car, starting from the pole. Outside of him, it will be the 65 of Scott Margie. Then it's the 04 of points leader Bob Shipp, a 4-time winner, starting from 3rd. 24 is Scott Aiello. 19 car driven by Scott Bowman. Then it's the 95 car of Jim Stokes. See the 57 of Andrew Butthead Kostelnik making it 3 wide down the back straight. It's the 50 car of Jeff Giles joining in that battle. Then it's the 4 of Mike Lemley and the 51 of Rick Broadwater, as cars are everywhere. Between turns 3 and 4, the 95 has spun, the 19 has spun, and the 65. Manus on the pole. Bob Shipp in the 04 outside. Scott Aiello in the 24 car. We'll start from the 3rd position. And then the 50 of Jeff Giles. The 4 car of Mike Lemley is in the inside of row number 3, along with the 51 of Rick Broadwater. McManus, a 3-time feature winner, has the inside lane on Bob Shipp, a 4-time feature winner. Bob Shipp comes into tonight 8 points ahead of Lemley in the 4 car in the championship standings for the Yellow Book Chargers. McManus leads lap number 1, but it's not by much, as the 04 of Bob Shipp is all over him. Mike Lemley in the 4, challenging Scott Aiello in the 24 car. Of Jeff Giles from Vanderbilt, Pennsylvania, now moving under Scott Aiello, taking away the 4th spot, as the lead battle, still an intense one, between points leader 04 Bob Shipp in the 2nd spot and the 17 of Dave McManus. Only 2 laps to go this time by anybody's race up front, as Lemley has closed on that battle. The 4 of Lemley, who started back in about the 5th or 6th spot in this event, has moved up to 3rd and could be closing in on the lead battle. Lemley is 8 points behind in the championship chase, but is a 3-time feature winner here this season. Flag waving for McManus this time, as he has his biggest lead. It's still just a little over a car length. Working the final lap for the Yellow Book Charger division, as the points leader Bob Shipp tries to look to the inside and can't get it done. Lemley now slows in the 4 car after charging up through the field. He loses position to the 50 of Giles and has dropped several car lengths away from the lead battle. Checkered flag will wave for Dave McManus, last week's feature winner. Bob Shipp comes home in the 2nd spot. Giles in the 3rd position. Inside of row number 3, the 01 of Harry Opfer from Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. Outside, it's the 3 of Matt Smith from New Eagle, PA. Inside row number 4, you find car number 11 of John Probanich from North Versailles. Outside of him, it will be the 97 car, driven by George P. Nicola, last week's feature winner. Bruce Hamilton, and the number 9 of Rick Huffman. As we get set to go Smale Pontiac GMC open wheel modified racing on Napa Auto Parts night. 20-lap feature is underway, and they're 3 wide already. Gary Scott 3 wide, and a daring inside move down the front straight into turn number 1 has taken the lead from 3rd position in less than half a lap. Nicola in the 5 to the outside. Bacalon in the Froggy 98 to the inside. Scott, the points leader, leads lap number 1. Keep in mind, here in the late season, points are ever valuable, and it's Adam Kostelnik in the 60 car, who has just taken away the 4th position, who needs to gain 2 points in the championship standings to tie Scott for the lead. We have a hard crash on the front straight. The Froggy car of Mike Bacalon nearly upside down. The 5 of Jim Nicola also makes contact. We see the 99 of Glemba spinning to avoid them, but a scary accident for Mike Bacalon in the Froggy 98.3 on his side down the front chute with the 5 of Nicola. The 5 car of Jim Nicola, who was also a part of the impact of that accident, has been able to continue. He will go to the tail of the field for being as a part of that caution, as well as the 99 machine, driven by Bo Glemba, who spun to avoid it after the accident had occurred. Those 2 drivers able to continue and have tagged on to the rear of the field. We have 1 lap completed with points leader Gary Scott out in front of this first feature of the night here on Napa Auto Parts Night on Saturday, September the 4th, featuring the Poverty Neck Hillbillies and Midnight Run. Talk to you a little bit more about that event later on, but we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing as points leader Gary Scott leads the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds back to the green flag over Matt Panay and Adam Kostelnik. Battle developing for the second spot, a pair of orange machines, the 32 of Matt Panay from Plum, Pennsylvania. Outside of him, it's Adam Kostelnik in the Viglione Racing number 60. Kostelnik from East McKeesport has taken away the second spot at the stripe that time. Kostelnik in the 60, currently 2 points behind Gary Scott in the championship chase. And Scott is the only car in front of him, several car lengths out to the lead in car number 16. Panay in the 32 hanging on to the 3rd spot, but it's veteran Matt Smith in car number 3 who just might be closing the gap and ready to challenge for the 3rd spot in just a few laps. Behind Smith, it's last week's winner George P. Nicola in the 97. Battle as 3 cars now fighting for 3rd position, making some contact on the racetrack. The 32 of Panay, the 3 of Smith, the 97 of Nicola. Tight racing down the back straight and into turn number 3, almost 3 wide. Panay in the 32 trying to make the rear end of the car as wide as possible. He throws the block for Nicola, but Matt Smith has the high line all to himself. Out of turn number 2, it's going to be Smith and Nicola again side by side. Can both cars fit around the 32 of Panay? Both cars appear to be a little bit faster as Panay loose out of turn number 4 each lap. We've seen the back end of the 32 machine shaking as it heads down the front straight. He still hangs on to the 3rd position, working lap 7. Now Matt Smith has the 3 car hooked up to the outside and has taken away the 3rd position. Nicola now as well changing to the high groove as Panay not able to hang on to the low side of that car. The rear end getting away from him each time, no matter how low on the speedway he races. That allows Matt Smith and George Nicola each advancing 1 position, while the 2 leaders of the event have checked out. Gary Scott continues to lead. He will be working on lap number 9 at the start-finish line this time. He has about 4 or 5 car length lead over Kostelnik in 2nd, and those 2 drivers are half a straightaway ahead of the battle we watched for 3rd position. Matt Smith hanging on to that position over Nicola. Again for the 3rd spot. Smith had it last lap and George P. Nicola wants it this time. 10 laps have been completed. They are working the halfway mark of this one, and the battle is intense for 3rd as Nicola in the 5 spins from the 6th spot after working his way back up from the earlier caution.
Well, they play to the end of this.
Set to go go back to green flag racing halfway through Napa Auto Parts night feature for the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds. 10 laps in and 10 laps remaining. Gary Scott and Adam Kostelnik had checked out on the rest of the field under green flag conditions. They remain 1 and 2 as they are on the racetrack, as they are in the point standings. Matt Smith in car number 3 was feeling the pressure of George P. Nicola. Those two cars just about to wage war again for the third spot, side by side down the front straight. Nicola by inches will have the third spot as they make contact in turn number 1. Side to side contact, banging the Nerf bars. Nicola completes the pass over Matt Smith. Smith now plays bumper tag and gets the 97 loose. Contact into turn number 3. Nicola has to back off. Now Smith sliding in the 3 car. Locks up the brakes and makes easy contact with the inside retaining wall, breaking the left front suspension on the 3. There's the green flag. Kostelnik challenging right at the drop of the green, then thinks better of it and checks up behind the 16 of Scott. Those cars separated themselves quite a bit on the start. They were racing closer before the caution flag waved. We're working on lap number 12. Jim Nicola in the 5 car has gone to the tail of the field 2 times tonight, but he could see himself challenging for a top 5 position as back in the pack. The number 5 car has now passed John Prabanich and is challenging the 01 of Harry Opfer. Contact made in that battle for 5th position. Jim Nicola and Harry Opfer. The 01 of Opfer started near the front of the field this evening. Nicola worked his way from the back after 2 spins, and George P. Nicola drops out of 3rd spot. The 97 has slowed. Right here on the front straight, the car wiggled out of turn number 4 and allowed the 32 of Matt Panay to take the 3rd position back. Panay, who held that spot for much of the early going of this race, returns to 3rd position over George P. Nicola. Now Nicola's back up to speed. It looked like he checked up with maybe a mechanical failure on the car. Perhaps he just lost the handle of the 97 as he's back up to full speed and ready to challenge Panay for 3rd position again. All night long, 3rd has been the spot of contest. Gary Scott continues to lead. Kostelnik continues in 2nd. Nicola and Panay now making contact. They did this several laps ago. Matt Smith was a part of the battle at that time. George P. Nicola in the 97 lost nearly half a straightaway to the front 2 when the car just about lost the handle in turn 4, but now he reclaims the 3rd position. Jim Nicola, meanwhile, has not only cracked the top 5 in car number 5, but he has reeled in Panay and may be able to challenge for 4th. The leaders exit turn number 4 toward the white flag. Gary Scott in the Swiss Vale Music Imperial Heights Chassis 16 car, the current points leader. 3-time feature winner at Motordrome. He will be doing double duty for the first time tonight as he has entered the Napa Auto Parts 100 in the late model division. But in turn number 4, it's all about the Smale Pontiac GMC open wheel modifieds, and Gary Scott wins the feature for the 4th time this season over Adam Kostelnik. George P. Nicola hangs on to 3rd. Finishing in the 4th spot, the 32 of Panay, and completing the top 5, the 5 of Jim Nicola. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of tonight's first feature on Napa Auto Parts Night at Motordrome Speedway, Gary Scott. Let's hear it for him. Huh.
My wife, I'll hug Peanuts instead.
He's going to hug the crew chief instead of his wife. I don't know how that's going to go at home later tonight.
She didn't set up the car, he did, so.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about this car. We talked to you earlier tonight about the fact that you're racing late models for the first time. We talked to you about the championship chase, but tell us a little bit about this car, because Imperial Heights Garage is known for dirt car chassis. This one seems to be hooked up pretty well on the pavement.
Well, it's a left-hander chassis. Imperial Heights put it together, but Peanuts has been dialing it in for the last 3 years, so everybody gets credit there. They built the car, but he's made it run. So I got to give him as much credit as the Haberdales, but they built a great car. They really do.
Peanuts has been setting up race cars since back in the days of Heidelberg in the 1960s. How many race cars does Peanuts have a hand in here tonight?
About 4 or 5 that I know of, probably more. You can't find him. I'm used to seeing him in a white t-shirt. He has a jacket on tonight. I can't find him.
One of the all-time legends in local mechanics here at the Motordrome Speedway. Now let's talk about championship points. You came in tonight only 2 points ahead of Kostelnik, but he was right at your bumper at the finish.
We picked up 2 more. That's all. It's gonna be right down to September 17th, whatever the last race is, I'm sure.
Hey, one last question. You got tonight started off with a bang with that move down the front straight, 3 wide at the start. Almost, you had to be looking right at that inside retaining wall headed into turn number 1. Tell us about that move.
Yeah, I don't usually do that. I took a shot that I don't usually take, but I wanted to get around Matt because Jimmy was on the outside pole and he's fast. He's been getting real fast lately, so it was then or never,
Sure was exciting for the fans. 3 wide at the drop of the green, and now a chance to thank all the sponsors that helped you put this program together.
Sure, obviously my business, Swiss Folk Music, Imperial Heights Garage, Drew's Family Restaurant, Advanced Racing Engines, Germac Heating and Cooling, Bush Brothers Tire, and just everybody that helps on the car. I mean, just a lot of good people helped me out.
Congratulations one more time. Best of luck in the 100-lapper tonight. First feature winner tonight in the Smale Pontiac GMC Modifieds, it's Gary Scott. Folks, we have down here on the front straight the official Subway Street Stocks can. Inside this can is the name of each and every one of the drivers that will be competing in tonight's Subway Street Stock feature. As soon as Gary Scott... It's time for the Falcones Chrysler Jeep Pro Truck feature event. Starting on the pole is the 0 of Dave Brunell. Outside of him, it's teammate Steve Black in car truck number 1. Then it's the 69 of Heat winner Dave Merrow and the 98.3 of Greg Kelly. 24 is Chantel Germek. The 50 truck is Chris Kossel. The 8, Marion Reno Jr. The 02 is Dan Lewis. 51 truck is Brandon Manns, and the 14 is Paul Milowicki, and they are stacked up in the battle for the lead. Teammates Black and Brunell side by side at the front of the field. The Beckwith Machinery race team of Dave Brunell in the 0 and Steve Black in the 1. A pair of Greensburg, Pennsylvania drivers slugging it out with Greg Kelly of Connellsville. Kelly in the Froggy 98.3 machine, also a late model driver here at the Speedway. Brunell and Kelly remaining side by side in the Beckwith Machinery teammates, with Kelly trying now. Kelly is separating those 2 trucks now by half a car length. Kelly makes the outside work as he completes a pass of Brunell. It's Steve Black out in front in truck number 1. Greg Kelly of Connellsville closes in on the back bumper. Kelly is flying. Now they make contact as they head down the front straight. Greg Kelly got into the left rear quarter of the Lewis truck. Of the black truck, I should say. Steve Black is now in jeopardy, serious jeopardy of losing the lead, and he does in turn 4. Kelly completes the pass. Greg Kelly in the 98.3. He knows it's the Froggy Summer Series here at Motordrome. And the 5-time feature winner and points leader is showing his sponsors how he can get it done. How about the 69 of Dave Merrow? He's got 1 feature victory so far this season. He won the heat. And already he has disposed of both Dave Brunell and his teammate Black. Truck on the move, that is Kossel. Chris Kossel has the 50 truck hooked up and flying around the top side. Side by side is the battle for third. Kossel to the inside. Black on the outside. Working lap number 8. The Falcone Chrysler Jeep Pro Truck feature is flying by. Greg Kelly has opened up quite a lead over Merrow. Kossel has now solidly taken away third from Steve Black. Greg Kelly wasted no time in taking away the top position and checking out on the rest of the field. Crossed flags this time indicate halfway through this 20-lap feature event for the Falcone Chrysler Jeep Pro Trucks here on Napa Auto Parts Night. And we're going to see a battle for second developing down the back straight. Chris Kossel in the 50. Takes to the inside of Dave Merrow from Wall, Pennsylvania. And Merrow is instantly shuffled back to third. Merrow has one feature victory on the season. He's going to battle right back with Kossel. Kossel also a one-time feature winner. They're ready to trade paint side by side. Tailgate to tailgate as they reach the line. Kossel hangs on to second by a couple of inches. Merrow having a fantastic night as he won his heat race. And now we've got a spin at the bottom of turn 2. The 0-2 of Dan Lewis leading as we get ready to work lap number 13. Chris Kossel, a one-time feature winner in the 50. And the 69 of Dave Merrow, another one-time feature winner this season. Greg Kelly leading the standings in the championship chase for the division. You have to look all the way back to 8th to find Brandon Manns, who is second in the championship point standings. Manns in the 51 truck is in the middle of a Gerbeck heating and cooling sandwich as Marion Reno Jr. in the 8 truck is directly behind him. Directly in front of him, Chantel Gerbeck in the 24 truck. Without a victory has been Mr. Consistency, maintaining the second position in the point standings. As we work lap number 15, Greg Kelly has not taken off from the field the way he did in the earlier stages. He's only leading by a few car lengths and continues to wash higher and higher in turns 3 and 4. Kossel and Merrow had been battling for second, but that could develop as the battle for the lead as Greg Kelly not as strong as he was a few laps ago in the Froggy 98.3 truck. A close eye on the 98.3 as last time he drifted a lane and a half too high in turns 3 and 4. Held it a little better that time, but the 50 of Chris Kossel and the 69 of Dave Merrow are now all over him after Kelly had nearly a half a straightaway lead before that caution flag came out. He doesn't have much longer to hang on as they will see the signal for 2 laps to go this time by. Again, Kelly a little bit too high and opens the door for Chris Kossel. Kossel, a familiar name in Motordrome Speedway racing. Chris in truck number 50, that time made a slight bid in turns 1 and 2 to grab the lead, but it'll be the white flag lap this time. And Kelly in his worst corner, turn 4. Again the truck wiggles, and again Kossel moves to the inside at the white flag. Falcone's Chrysler Jeep Pro Truck Division, trading paint for the lead. Chris Kossel on the bottom, a one-time feature winner. Points leader Greg Kelly shuffled back to second on the final lap. Kossel has not led this event, and he's getting attacked from behind. Kelly nearly loses control as he hits the leader. But a second win for Chris Kossel as he hangs on in truck number 50 over the points leader. Incredible battle to the finish with Dave Merrow, Steve Black, and Dave Brunell completing the top 5. Chris. Congratulations. to you.
Thank you.
Boy, they tried absolutely everything to hold on to the lead. Then they tried everything to take it back in the final lap, and here you are.
Yeah, I mean, the truck worked good tonight. You know, we worked on it this week, changed a few things back to the way they were. You know, we had new tires this week. Last week we was running on some old tires last time I was here. Yeah, I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, JT's Auto and Cycle, Bob Mongel's Car Care, Westside Tire and Lube, Seeker's Shoe Pullet, and all my family. You know, they helped me do this, and they're all stand behind me here. Thanks.
You mentioned that family, and your name is a familiar one to MOTORDROME Speedway fans. I see a familiar guy right there in the green shirt. Tell us a little bit about your family's history here.
Well, first of all, you can look at the guy in the blue shirt, the older guy. He started racing here a long time ago when it was dirt. And then my dad got into it and run baby grands, and then he came back when it was asphalt and run pro stock here. It was champion numerous number of years, and I finally got into it. So.
And get into it in a big way. Now, that last lap, you closed in on, did you see the handle start to slip away a little bit on the Froggy truck in front of you? Because he had you covered earlier in the race, and then that caution flag was all you needed.
Yeah, I seen he was starting to push up, but so was I too. I was pushing a little bit. That's why a couple of times I got underneath of him, and then I had to back out of it, and you know, because I was pushing also. But we got it together, just running hard, and we're here.
He is here for the second time this season in the Falcone Chrysler Jeep Pro Trucks. Let's hear it for Chris Kossel. Advances the most positions from his start to his finish in each division's feature event, is that division's hard charger for the week, and also receives a case of Valvoline motor oil. In the feature you just saw, winner Chris Kossel was also the hard charger. Folks, Napa Auto Parts, proud sponsors of tonight's Napa Auto Parts 100, and Neil Brown. Machine, it's Bill Henry. Inside row 2, it's the 74 of Jason Holder and the 15 of Jonathan Heilman. Then back to the 77 of Rich Burbage. Outside of him, it's the 73 of Lonnie Hoffman. The driver of the 36 is Will Ashton. The driver of the 4 car is Vince Kiter, tonight's Subway Street Stock Challenge driver. The driver of the 22 is Robin Rimmel, and he just avoids the spinning Lonnie Hoffman. Hoffman was tagged from behind and lost the handle. Also collects the 44 machine at the last minute of Sean Rick. Driven by Bill Henry. Inside, it's the 74 of Jason Holder and the 15 of Jonathan Heilman making up row number 2. Rich Burbage in the 77 car, then Will Ashton in the 36 car. Heading back 1 row, we find the 4 of Vince Kiter, the 22 of Robin Rimmel, the Napa Auto Parts sponsored machine. Points leader Frank Turek drives car number 5. In the 25 machine, it's Dave Tavernino. And then the cars that were involved in that first lap caution as they're 3 wide down the back straight. Turek, Kiter, Rimmel. Mid-pack 3 wide racing action in turn 3. Nicola out in front with the 74 machine of Holder closing in quickly. How about that for a burst of speed? In turn number 3, Nicola gets 2 car lengths on him. It's Robin Rimmel in the Napa Auto Parts 22 taking position away from the 77 of Burbage, but up front they are side by side for the lead. Working on lap number 2, Holder to the inside, Nicola on the outside. Holder from Stoystown, Pennsylvania in an Audi Racing number 74. Nicola, the Ford-powered 34 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the high side. Dave Tavernino continues on with an ill-sounding number 25 right here in front of us as Holder leads lap number 4. Robin Rimmel, the man on the move as he was in last week's feature as well. Tavernino stuck in low gear but continuing around the racetrack at the 25 at a snail's pace. Holder your leader, Rimmel up to 3rd, Napa Auto Parts Knight, and Robin Rimmel in 3rd position, challenging Nicola for 2nd. The Tavernino machine finally leaves the speedway as the battle developing for the 2nd position. 2 veteran Subway street stock drivers side by side. Nicola continues to hang on to 2nd as we work lap number 6, but by less than a car length. Jonathan Heilman moves up into the 4th spot, sending Henry back another spot, and there's points leader Frank Turek coming through. Rimmel may have completed the pass for 2nd this time at the line. He does. Robin Rimmel in the 22 car pulls away already by a car length over Nicola. Rimmel from White, Pennsylvania in the 2nd spot now, while Jason Holder from Stoystown with several car lengths advantage out in front. He completes lap number 8 this time. Robin Rimmel 2nd in the point standings with 4 victories coming into tonight. Leading him in the championship chase, it's Frank Turek in car number 5, who started at the back of the field and has climbed to 4th. A problem toward the rear of the field between Ashton and tonight's Subway Street Stock Challenge driver Vince Cater in the 4. Both continue on. Approaching the halfway point in this event. 74 of Jason Holder yet to win here at Motordrome in 2004. He is 3rd in the point standings behind Turek and Rimmel, but has yet to see a feature checkered flag. He's halfway toward one tonight with a healthy advantage down the back straight. In car number 5, closing in on Nicola to battle for the 3rd position. Turek from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, closed quickly. Once he reached the top 5, he is bumper to bumper now with Nicola, who led the early stage of this event. Turek down to the bottom. Nicola not putting up a fight as he knows the handle has gone away just a little bit from the earlier stages in that 34 car. Turek now in command of the 3rd position. Robin Rimmel, his championship nemesis in the Napa Auto Parts 22, directly in front of him. And Rimmel only gaining slight ground, it appears, on Holder. At the start-finish line this time, there will be 15 of 20 laps completed in the Subway Street Stock feature. And if you're a fan of the Subway 6-inch meatball sub, bad news for everyone in attendance tonight. Vince Cater, the Subway Street Stock Challenge driver, is not near the top 5 as we only have 5 laps remaining. Before before this one is over, Frank Turek may be right on the heels of Robin Rimmel, while Holder looks to be in command of a first career victory here at Motordrome. Just 3 laps remaining this time. Holder leading Rimmel and Turek, and that second spot is going to develop into a battle maybe as soon as turn number 2. Turek, who started deep in this field, and Rimmel, who started about mid-pack, have both passed several cars to get where they are, but it doesn't look like either one of them will have anything for Holder. This time, the signal given for 2 laps remaining. Jason Holder, many-time Charger feature winner here at the Speedway, yet to win in the street stock division. Rimmel that time has trouble in turns 1 and 2, and that opens the door for Turek in the 5. Battle for the championship title on the line in the late weeks of the season here, and Turek, with 7 wins on the year, takes over second spot from Rimmel. Those two separated by 34 points coming into tonight. And Turek on this final lap may have something to say about the victory as young Jason Holder in the 74 car holds on the lead. Turek ever so close to the back bumper. Looking to the inside now, tucks back in line, and Holder will win his first at Motordrome. Turek pushes him across the line to finish second. Robin Rimmel takes third. Nicola hangs on for the 4th spot, and Jonathan Heilman completes the top 5. Here in Victory Lane, he's out of the car, but he's still got his helmet on. We'll wait till he takes the helmet off to give him a first-time Subway Street Stock win round of applause. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Holder. Happiness in Victory Lane and tears shedding in Victory Lane. First time street stock win as the trophy is presented. We're going to bring him up here and talk to him. Congratulations on your first street stock win.
Holy moly, I don't know even what to say. Man, I'd like to thank my dad and John Habersack and his dad, John Habersack, my mom, my sister, my girlfriend Joey. Nicola's been helping me out a lot. Lasky's and Bill Audie. This is a team car. I mean, it's not just me driving. I mean, there's a lot of guys behind me, and I'd like to thank them all. I'd like to thank the Monicas, Phillips Tax Service, North Star Equipment, Laurel Collision, Holder Auto Repair, Morocco Welding. I don't know, I'm forgetting half of them, I think. Black Specialty, and Boswell Prescription, AutoZone. I think that's all. I hope it is anyhow. I hope I didn't forget anybody.
Now, you were one of the men to beat here in the Charger division. Did you think it would take this long in the street stocks, or does this exceed your expectations for your first feature win?
When you get, I mean, it's totally different. I mean, when I started running street stocks, I thought I knew something, and I found out how much I had to learn. Running with Frank and Robin and all them guys, they're fast every week, and sometimes I guess you just get a little bit lucky.
But you've been consistent. You're right up there in the championship chase. You're right behind those guys, although this is your first victory. So you had to have a consistent season nevertheless.
Yeah, down here we've been doing real well. Jennerstown's been another story, but I mean, up at Jennerstown we've been busted up every week, but down here it's been consistent, and it feels good.
There you have it, friends. He led the distance tonight and did a great job for his first career street stock victory. He's Jason Holder from Stoystown in car 74. All right, folks, it's time now to pull the winner for tonight's Smithton Volunteer Fire Department 50-50 drawing. Total tonight?
$682.
Take home tonight is $682. Who's going to pull this one? Crown Jewel event for the Falcone Dodge late models here in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. Tonight's 100-lap event will be all green flag racing. Caution laps do not count in this event.
Radio was red on it.
NAPA Auto Parts Night, the concluding round of the Froggy Summer Series here at the Motordrome Speedway. featuring the Napa Auto Parts 100 for the Falcone Dodge late models. Starting in the 20th position, driving a team car to John Komarinsky, the Rolling Rock Green Light sponsored car, renumbered 39 for tonight's 100 lap event, the driver from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Jim Bryce. Making only his second start of the season at the MOTORDROME Speedway, driving a car from the Henry Motorsports stable, the Ford Taurus number 77, starting in the 19th position. Welcome, Scott Alborn. Another rookie making his first Falcone Dodge late model start, driving an Urso Racing Supplies team car. The Swissvale Music owner and winner of tonight's modified feature earlier in the evening, the driver of car number 87 tonight is Gary Scott. Starting in the 17th position, a former EMOD Touring Series champion. In the lint flooring, car number 91 from Delmont, Pennsylvania, welcome Tommy Beck. The driver of car number 43, a regular competitor here in the NASCAR Dodge Weekly Racing Series, who hails from Port View, Pennsylvania, in the Blue Flame Restaurant B&J Plumbing number 43, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Adams. Inside of him, driving a second car from the Miller Racing Stables, the Valvoline Brooks Automotive Group number 26 car, a double-duty driver here at the MOTORDROME Speedway from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, Brandon Manns. Moving up to the primary car from the Komarinsky Racing Stable, it's the Rolling Rock Monte Carlo Latrobe Brewing Company number 33 for veteran from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, John Komarinsky. Inside of him, in another beautiful green machine, sponsored by Nagy Gas and Oil and Hunter's Truck Sales, young driver from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, welcome Sean Pila. The next row containing two former MOTORDROME Speedway champions. The defending champion and current points leader in the Falcone Dodge late models with 6 victories on the season in the Brooks Automotive Group Bellevue chassis, Valvoline number 25 from Dunbar, Pennsylvania, Rick Miller. Inside, a 2-time former champion of the MOTORDROME Speedway. He drives the Edie's Ice Cream Tom Clark Ford Napa Auto Parts sponsored Ford Taurus from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. In car number 31, it's Mark Catone. One of 2 West Virginia drivers in the field, drives the Chevrolet number 51, hailing from Morgantown, West Virginia, in the Advance Auto Parts J&M Graphics number 51. Please say hello to John Messenger. Up next, another 2-time former MOTORDROME Speedway late model champion. This evening, he drives the car numbered 68 for lint flooring and stands transmissions from Brewston Mills, West Virginia, defending race winner Richard Mitchell. Starting from the 8th position, a long-time racing veteran on the dirt tracks in his first season of asphalt competition. Formerly known as the Pink Panther, and driving in his first 100-lap asphalt late model race, the Calusi Chevrolet Froggy sponsored number 99 from Venetia, Pennsylvania, Ben Miley. Inside of Ben is another 6-time feature winner this season at the MOTORDROME Speedway. He drives the Fuhrer Motorsports Coors Light Silver Bullet number 98 from Acme, Pennsylvania. This is Neil Brown. Starting from the 6th position, the 2002 Falcone Dodge Late Model Champion at the MOTORDROME Speedway. In the Stone & Company Megan Ford Taurus number 95 from Somerset, Pennsylvania, this is Gary Wiltrout. Starting from the 5th position and driving car number 37. The driver from Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, sponsored by Sullivan Chevrolet and Urso Racing Supplies. A round of applause for Paul Urso. Making up row number 2 for the Napa Auto Parts 100. On the outside, the driver who led last week's feature event in the early stages, a team car out of the Fuhrer Motorsports Neil Brown Racing Stable. This is veteran from the dirt track and pavement days of the MOTORDROME Speedway in the Coors Light Chevrolet number 11, Bobby Henry. Starting from the 3rd position, he made his return last week after injury suffered in a NASCAR Dodge Weekly Racing Series accident 4 weeks prior. He hails from 84, Pennsylvania, and drives the Howard Concrete Pumping number 96. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Poole. Front row starters for tonight's Napa Auto Parts 100 include the double-duty driver from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. He drives the Kessler Lumber Cintas number 1. Please say hello to Greg Kelly. Another one of the Froggy entries on the front row, and your pole sitter, a veteran of Pro Stock and late model racing here on the pavement of the MOTORDROME Speedway. Tonight driving car number 61. He will lead the field to the green flag for 100 laps of racing in the Bahana Racing entry from Monongahela, Pennsylvania, number 61, Larry Bahana. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the starters who will participate in tonight's Napa Auto Parts 100. The famous words in racing to be delivered this evening by Carl Della Pena, a 9-store owner in the Napa Auto Parts chain, an integral part of the man who put together tonight's motorcycle promotion, who will be giving away the Harley Davidson coming up a little bit later on tonight. We turn things down to the front straightaway, and Carl Della Pena for the words that everyone knows.
On behalf of all the local Napa Auto Parts stores, all the local Napa Auto Care centers, all their employees, and all the great Napa customers, gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers instructed to pair up for the 2x2 start of the Napa Auto Parts 100. Lights extinguished on the pace truck, indicating green flag racing will occur at the starting line, this time by the crown jewel event for the Falcone Dodge late models here at MOTORDROME Speedway in 2004. The Napa Auto Parts 100 is underway with Larry Bahana and Greg Kelly leading the field in turn number 1. Veteran Larry Bahana in car number 61, just in front of Mark Poole, who is taking away the 2nd spot from Greg Kelly as we speak. Bobby Henry is the silver 11 machine, taking away the 3rd spot from Kelly as the Froggy number 1 machine slides back from the front row start. Mark Poole takes the Howard Concrete Pumping number 96 out to the early lead, working on lap number 1. Bobby Henry in the 11 car led much of last week's feature event. Many-time winner here at MOTORDROME Speedway in years past, and he is second by only inches at the line, leading lap number 2. Mark Poole in the 96 car, injured in a NASCAR Weekly Racing Series late model accident several weeks ago. Missed nearly 6 weeks of competition, the first time in his career that he's ever missed a race at MOTORDROME Speedway. He loses the lead to Bobby Henry, and maybe losing second place to former late model champion Gary Wiltrout as we work lap number 3. Bobby Henry has the Fuhrer Motorsports Coors Light number 11 out in front. Wiltrout in the 95, the Ford Taurus machine into 2nd, and Henry's teammate Neil Brown, the man on the move, passing Mark Poole for 3rd. Pole sitter Larry Bahana Bahana has fallen back to 5th now. He and Greg Kelly nose to tail, and Kelly is feeling a challenge from the 68 of Richard Mitchell. Mitchell, who won all the extra distance events here at Motordrome last season, challenging now Bahana as well. Action all over the speedway as the battle develops for second. Looking for Neil Brown in the number 98 machine to complete the pass that he started last lap on Gary Wiltrout. Indeed, he does, and takes over the second spot. The top 2 positions now dominated by Brown Racing Entry, as Bobby Henry has his Coors Light Silver Bullet number 11 out in front on lap 6, then several car lengths back to Neil Brown, the 6-time winner in the Coors Light number 98 machine. And we got a car spun in the middle of the back straight, bringing out the caution flag. Car backwards. The center of the back straightaway on lap 6. Command of the field left to Bobby Henry and teammate Neil Brown. Gary Wiltrout in 3rd, Mark Poole in 4th, Richard Mitchell completing the top 5. Rick Miller currently in the 6th spot. Pole sitter Larry Bahana is 7th as we work toward completing lap number 7. Challenge for the 4th spot. Richard Mitchell from Brewston Mills, West Virginia has the 68 machine to the inside of Poole. He has the front fender ahead at the start-finish line, scoring him in the 4th spot on lap number 7. Poole on the outside will now find a challenge from Rick Miller to the bottom side. Current points leader in the Falcone Dodge late models, Rick Miller, a 6-time winner, moves to the inside of Poole and will crack the top 5 here in the very early runnings of the Napa Auto Parts 100. Just as quickly, Miller is pulling alongside of Mitchell. Richard Mitchell, who has climbed up through this field, is now facing a challenge from Rick Miller. Miller takes away the 4th position that quickly. Brooks Automotive Group machine on the move, number 25, Rick Miller. Gary Scott has retired from the event, pulled the 87 machine pit side under green, and we have a lead battle heading toward the finish line here to complete lap number 10. Neil Brown in the 98 machine takes position away from Bobby Henry, his teammate, and down the back straight becomes the new leader. Wiltrout still hanging on in 3rd. Then a few car lengths back to the advancing Rick Miller in the 25 car. Brown officially leads his first lap, and it's lap number 11 here in the Napa Auto Parts 100. In the middle of the pack finds pole sitter Larry Bahana feeling a challenge from John Messenger. Right behind them is former champion Mark Catone, who carries the Napa Auto Parts logo on his Taurus. Battle for about the 9th, 10th, and 11th positions. Bahana, Messenger, Catone, and Tommy Beck. Leaders still single file. Holds off Messenger for the time being, and then 2 heavy hitters behind them in the form of Mark Catone in the 31, Tommy Beck in the 91. Both of those drivers have been victorious here in Motordrome before in the late model division, but not yet in 2004. Messenger's car bottoming out in turn 1 each time with a shower of sparks out of the 51 machine. As he looks to the inside of Bahana, Mark Catone works the outside of Messenger. A 2-time former Speedway champion Mark Catone in the 31 machine. Outside of Messenger, who is inside of Bahana. Middle of the pack action while the lead battle heats up in turns 3 and 4. Bobby Henry wants to reclaim the top position. He challenges his boss, and they are side by side at the stripe. Working lap number 16, Neil Brown still leads by inches, but Bobby Henry in the 11 cars, challenging to the inside, a pair of Coors Light Silver Bullet machines just in front of Gary Wiltrout in the 95. Henry this time with the advantage out of 4 and will take the lead back. Henry not in contention for the championship battle as Wiltrout slips into the outside groove and clobbers the side of Neil Brown. Neil Brown is not as fast as he was a few laps ago, and as Wiltrout moved to the inside to challenge for second, Wiltrout slid up half a groove and put wheel marks all over the left side of the 98 of Brown. Neil Brown's championship battle with Rick Miller is won on the racetrack right now for 3rd position in the Napa 100. Neil Brown second in the current standings. Rick Miller, the defending champion and points leader, both have 6 victories on the season. And they are fighting tooth and nail for the 3rd spot, with Richard Mitchell just behind in the 68 machine. Neil Brown easily took the lead from Bobby Henry, but perhaps something amiss as he lost the lead and then instantly fell to challenge for second. Wiltrout and Brown making heavy contact in turns 1 and 2, both continuing on, and Brown is now able to hold off Rick Miller, who was very quickly advancing, so perhaps a temporary handling disorder for Brown. Retiring from competition is Bryce in the Komarinsky Racing number 39 machine. Working lap number 21 now. Bobby Henry still the leader by about 7 or 8 car lengths over Gary Wiltrout. Several car lengths then back to Neil Brown, who faded quickly from the lead, but nevertheless holds off Rick Miller. Miller in the 4th spot after starting deep in this field, and Richard Mitchell in the 5th position. Once again, the battle will be heating up for 3rd as they enter turns 3 and 4. Still working within the first quarter of the Napa Auto Parts 100. Neil Brown attempting to hold off points leader and championship nemesis Rick Miller, while his own teammate leads this event in the form of Bobby Henry. Gary Wiltrout is closing in on Bobby Henry. The 2002 MOTORDROME Speedway late model champion, Gary Wiltrout. This time he's close enough to the back bumper of Henry to reach out and touch him. Wiltrout, whose number 95 car had a problem in the practice session last week, was parked, and he jumped into the Greg Kelly number 1 car and drove through the field in a miraculous drive for never having sat in the car. He's back behind the wheel of his own Ford Taurus and is challenging for the lead here in the Napa Auto Parts 100. Meanwhile, also side by side behind them, the battle for 3rd intensifies with Rick Miller on the low side of Neil Brown. Miller now half a car length out in front down the back straight. He takes position away and finds himself in 3rd now on lap 27. Miller to 3rd. Wiltrout will challenge for the lead once again into turn number 1. He just had the bumper under Henry's car. It wasn't enough, and he backs off and lets Henry continue to lead in the early stages of the event. Rick Miller instantly distances himself by 5 or 6 car lengths, putting some space between he and now 4th place running Neil Brown. Wiltrout's last lead challenge forced him to back off just a bit in turn number 2, but he is quickly making up those car lengths that he lost as Bobby Henry is approaching lap traffic. The number 43 of Mike Adams will be the first back marker for the leaders to encounter on lap 30. Not quite 1/3 of the way through the Napa Auto Parts 100, and Henry moves to the outside of Adams, as will Wiltrout headed into turn 3. Gary Wiltrout is going to have something to say about the lead of this event in the very near future. Open racetrack in front of the leaders now for about half a straightaway up to the Paul Urso machine. Rick Miller in 3rd, now makes his way past Mike Adams in the 43 car. Neil Brown hangs on to 4th, Richard Mitchell in the 5th spot. 5 cars relatively broken away now by an entire straightaway over Mark Poole in 6th. Greg Kelly is 7th, Ben Miley is 8th in his first 100-lap asphalt attempt. Henry now opens up a few car lengths advantage over Wiltrout. Urso in the 37 pulls to the pit area. The Urso Racing team entered 2 cars in this event, and on lap 34, both of them have retired as Urso literally pulled out of the way of the leaders as they were about to put a lap on him. Bobby Henry out in front. This time when he crosses the stripe, it will be completing lap number 35. Gary Wiltrout in second with now heavy lap traffic in front of the leaders. 5-car of Scott Pila very slow on the back straight up against the outside retaining wall. He may not be able to find a lane to pull into the pits. This could necessitate a caution flag as he has rolled nearly to a stop in 3. There's the caution waving on lap 35, sparing the lead 5. And in third, the Brooks Automotive Group Pontiac Grand Prix of Rick Miller, number 25. And Miller loses car lengths on the start. Perhaps a tire spin or a slow shift in the 25 machine as Wiltrout and Henry have broken away by 10, 12 car lengths over the 25. Neil Brown had to swerve to avoid getting into the back of Miller's machine. Miller appears back up to full song, but not a good restart. That time out of turn number 2, Gary Wiltrout slid the number 95 machine just a bit, allowing Bobby Henry to gain a couple of car lengths, holding on to the lead. John Komarinsky is off the pace in the Rolling Rock 33 car. Tough break tonight for his racing team. Both of their entries are parked on lap 37. Leaders single file, spaced out through the top 5. Mark Catone makes a move on Ben Miley and brings Tommy Beck with him. Catone now up to 8th, the former Motordrome champion. Tommy Beck in 9th. Ben Miley now completing the top 10 in the Calusi Chevrolet 99. Working now on lap number 40 in this crown jewel event for the Falcones Dodge late models. Falcones, Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler, title division sponsors of the late models and the pro trucks here at MOTORDROME Speedway. A 5-star dealership located in Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. And the Napa Auto Parts 100 is approaching the halfway mark. Bobby Henry, your leader. Gary Wiltrout losing ground to him in second and allowing Rick Miller to pull right up on the back bumper. The most recent 2 late model champions here at MOTORDROME Speedway are going to be fighting it out for the second spot. Gary Wiltrout, 2002 champion in the 95. Rick Miller, 2003 champion in the 25. Makes the move on lap 43 on the back straight. It was quick as they approached the lapped car number 77, driven tonight by Scott Alborn. Miller made it look easy and took the second position away from Wiltrout, who not too long ago was challenging for the lead. John Komarinsky returns to the racetrack in the 33 machine as the leaders pass by him on the back straight. Bobby Henry with now 7 or 8 car lengths advantage over Rick Miller. Then it's Gary Wiltrout, followed by Neil Brown and Richard Mitchell. Top 5 drivers on the speedway, no strangers to victory lane here at MOTORDROME. Bobby Henry led the feature last week and lost the lead mid-race to Rick Miller. Miller now in second, and we'll see if he can close on the Coors Light 11 as he did last week. We're working lap 46 with Gary Wiltrout in third, Neil Brown in fourth. Meanwhile, back in the 6th spot, Mark Catone has methodically picked his way through the field. A battle of marks as Mark Poole in the 96, hanging on to the 6th spot, feeling pressure from Mark Catone in the Napa Auto Parts Edie's Ice Cream Ford Taurus. Catone has the fender underneath him in turn 1. They are side by side for the 6th position, exiting turn 2. Down the back straightaway, Mark Catone, the former MOTORDROME Speedway champion. The inside lane on Mark Poole. Poole's not giving up easy. It's a torrid fight for the 6th place while the leaders remain single file spread out among them on lap 48. Catone completes his pass. Mark Catone now in the 6th spot. About a half straightaway in front of him is Richard Mitchell in the 5th position with clear racetrack separating them. Lapped cars not a factor among the top 10 at this point. Bobby Henry continues to lead, and this time by the stripe it will be lap number 50. Connellsville, Pennsylvania's Bobby Henry in the Coors Light Silver Bullet number 11 sees the signal of crossed flags. Halfway through the Napa Auto Parts 100, and Gary Wiltrout and Rick Miller are swapping the 2nd position. Wiltrout, who seemed to surrender 2nd a few laps ago, has come back to life and put the Miller number 25 back to 3rd, where Neil Brown rides in 4th. Those two drivers, the championship contenders here this season. And that battling has allowed Bobby Henry to increase his lead substantially. Bobby Henry nearly a half straightaway ahead of Gary Wiltrout now. Bobby Henry approaches the Mike Adams machine to put him a 2nd lap down. Bobby Henry has not been to victory lane in 2004, as the feature wins in the Falcone Dodge late models this season have all fallen to the 3 drivers behind him. Gary Wiltrout, Rick Miller, and Neil Brown running 3rd, 4th, and 5th respectively on the speedway. As we work lap number 57. We will take a look at all of the top 10 cars as Henry in turn number 4 will begin to work on lap number 58 of the Napa Auto Parts 100, sponsored by the 49 Western Pennsylvania locations of Napa Auto Parts stores and service centers. Henry in the Coors Light Silver Bullet number 11 leads the 95 machine driven by Gary Wiltrout, 2002 late model champion sponsored by Megan Ford, Stone and Company. That Taurus-bodied machine leads Rick Miller in 3rd. Miller, the current points leader here at Motordrome Speedway with 6 victories in the Brooks Automotive Group Valvoline-sponsored Pontiac Grand Prix number 25. Into the 4th spot, it's Neil Brown, another of the Coors Light Silver Bullet machines. His car number 98, a 6-time winner on the circuit this season here at Motordrome. Then we move back into the 5th spot. We see the Lint Flooring and Tile number 68, driven by Brewston Mills, West Virginia's Richard Mitchell, who dominated all of the extra distance races in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series in Pennsylvania last season. Moving back 1 spot, we find the 31 machine of former track champion Mark Catone. Catone carries the Napa Auto Parts logo, Edie's Ice Cream and Tom Clark Chevrolet on his Ford Taurus. Yet to win here at Motordrome in 2004, but has climbed up through the field. Behind him, we see a battle of back markers. Those are lapped machines. That's the 43 of Mike Adams and the 77, a car out of the Bobby Henry Racing stable, driven by Scott Alborn. Then it's about a half straightaway back to another Lint Flooring machine. This is the 91 of Tommy Beck, driver from Delmont, Pennsylvania. He has wrestled a position away from Mark Poole. Poole drives the 96 machine, the Howard concrete pumping car, and he is feeling a challenge now from Greg Kelly. Kelly is last year's Pro Truck champion, driving the Froggy 98.3 sponsored car, number 1. He is closed up to the back bumper of Poole. Last week, it was Gary Wiltrout driving that machine to maintain his points position, but Kelly and Poole now battling for position on the racetrack. Moving back several car lengths, we find the 51, the Advance Auto Parts Chevrolet Monte Carlo of Morgantown, West Virginia's John Messenger. Then again, several car lengths back to the last car currently running on the lead lap. It's the Calusi Chevrolet Froggy sponsored number 99 of Ben Miley from Venetia, Pennsylvania. Miley racing in his first 100-lap asphalt event, although he has been victorious in 100 lappers in his dirt track racing career. Last car on the lead lap as leader Bobby Henry and Gary Wiltrout will be approaching him, working lap number 66 this time. Also still out on the racetrack, your pole sitter Larry Bahana in the 61 machine, now a lap down. As is the Brandon Mann's machine still out on the racetrack, another double-duty driver, pro truck racer, and driving the backup car from the Rick Miller stable, number 26. Working on lap number 68. Bobby Henry in the center of the back straight, your leader of the Napa Auto Parts 100, closing in quickly on Ben Miley in car number 99. Miley gets the move over flag as he will become a victim to Henry, going one lap down, and the caution flag waves trouble in turn 4. It's Larry Bahana. The pole sitter has spun to the inside of Rick Miller in third, Neil Brown in fourth, Richard Mitchell in fifth, Mark Catone in sixth as the green flag waves. Lap number 68. This stage of the event, tire wear becomes a factor. Bobby Henry has been able to pick and choose his own lines around the racetrack, while Wiltrout and Miller have fought one another for the second position on a couple of occasions. Wiltrout this time able to hang right to the back bumper of Bobby Henry's car. In Richard Mitchell's victories last season, patience was a key factor. He rides back there in the 5th spot behind Neil Brown. Could he be saving something in that lid flooring number 68? One minor miscue by Wiltrout allows Henry to pull away by 4 or 5 car lengths. Rick Miller tightens up to the back bumper of Wiltrout. If they should battle once again for second, that would play right into the hands of Bobby Henry with clear racetrack and no lap cars in front of him on lap 71. Lap number 73, and Rick Miller in the 25 car seems to be fighting a slightly loose condition now as the car slid up on him just a little bit out of turn number 2. Neil Brown has closed the gap on Miller for third. This is the championship points battle here at MOTORDROME Speedway, although not for the lead on the racetrack. Rick Miller comes into tonight's racing 6 points ahead of Brown in the MOTORDROME Speedway Falcone Dodge late model point standings. That battle intensifies, allowing Wiltrout to pull away a little bit with the second spot. Brown ever so close to the rear of Miller's bumper. Those two drivers have fought tooth and nail all season, each with 6 victories to their credit. Brown now tags the rear of Miller's machine. The battle for third heats up with slight contact. They will be side by side going into turn 3. Miller on the high side lets Brown slip through for third. And just as quickly, Richard Mitchell has caught up to this battle. Bobby Henry and Gary Wiltrout all by themselves first and second. But the remainder of the top 5, Neil Brown, Rick Miller, Richard Mitchell, and now Mark Catone have closed in on one another. It could be a 4-car battle for third as we work lap number 78, headed for the closing stages of this event. The top 5 positions still up for grabs while Bobby Henry leads by 10 car lengths over Gary Wiltrout. Rick Miller indeed very cautious through the corners. Perhaps a tire problem on the Brooks Automotive Group 25 as he is cautiously making his way through turns 3 and 4 each lap. Richard Mitchell challenges him to the inside. Mitchell, who was undefeated in his racing efforts in 2003, sweeping the special events in Western Pennsylvania, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, has just taken away third position from points leader Rick Miller. Drivers second, third, and fourth accounting for some 5 late model track championships here at Motordrome. Rick Miller aiming at his 2nd championship in a row this season, and finds himself now losing points to Neil Brown if the race were to end the way it is. Less than 20 laps to go in the Napa Auto Parts 100. Mitchell has only pulled away by 2 or 3 car lengths from Miller's machine. He's got Neil Brown about half a straightaway in front of him. Working lap number 82 with Bobby Henry all by himself out in front. Gary Wiltrout holds down the 2nd position. Inside the window of 10 laps to go, it will be time to show everything you've got. And right now, Bobby Henry still has the most as he led early, lost the lead briefly to teammate Neil Brown, then captured the lead once again, and has checked out on the field, working lap number 84. Wiltrout has gotten close enough to make a stab at it, but has never pulled alongside the 11 machine in challenging for the lead. Only 15 laps remaining this time. Bobby Henry, who dominated the limited late model scene on the dirt tracks in the 1980s. He won championship after championship here on the dirt at Motordrome and at Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. Then quickly changed career paths, headed for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series where he found instant success, winning at all of the tracks who participate in the Dodge NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, including here at Motordrome, but not yet in 2004. His first victory could be the crown jewel of the season as he works through the lap traffic of Mike Adams and approaches the Brandon Manns number 26 car. This is lap 87. Henry goes to the outside, easily putting Manns a lap down. Gary Wiltrout some 10 car lengths back. Rick Miller now in jeopardy of losing another spot to Mark Catone out on the racetrack. Henry your leader, Wiltrout in 2nd, Neil Brown in 3rd. 4th is Richard Mitchell, who has pulled away a bit from Miller, and it's the battle for 5th, finding Mark Catone diving to the inside of Rick Miller. These two drivers have battled one another for many years. Ford versus Pontiac as Catone takes the spot away on lap number 89. Mark Catone now finds his number on the scoreboard as he cracks the Napa Auto Parts Taurus into the top 5 over defending champion Rick Miller. Bobby Henry now with 10 laps remaining has nothing but clear racetrack in sight. He and Gary Wiltrout will have to encounter no more lapped cars through the finish of the Napa Auto Parts 100. Wiltrout able to slightly close, but doesn't appear to have enough to mount a serious challenge for the victory at this point. Neil Brown, Henry's teammate, riding in the 3rd spot. He clears the lap traffic as well. Richard Mitchell still in 4th. Mitchell to the high side of Adams and now to the high side of Manns down the back straight. Mark Catone in the 5th spot appears to be gaining ground on Mitchell. Working on lap number 92, Catone from deep in this field may be able to challenge for the 4th spot before this one is over. At the stripe this time, Bobby Henry will begin to work lap number 93, and he has now increased his advantage over Wiltrout. by Neil Brown's Silver Bullet Racing team. Has not won a feature here in 2004. He led last week, only to find disappointment as he spun from second position. And now, with only 4 laps remaining, continues to pull away from second place Gary Wiltrout. In third, it's Neil Brown. In fourth, it's Richard Mitchell. In fifth, Mark Catone. Miller, the current point leader, back in the 6th spot with clear racetrack in front and behind him. Remaining, and Mark Catone is mounting a challenge for the 4th position on Richard Mitchell. Leaders all by themselves. Catone haunting the back bumper of Richard Mitchell, both former Motordrome Speedway champions. Mitchell with ARCA Super Speedway experience on his resume. Catone, who once traveled to tracks in the Iceman Series, battling for the 4th position. Meanwhile, Bobby Henry has taken the white flag. The veteran racer from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, driving for the Neil Brown Racing team. Yet to find victory lane in 2004, but he will see the checkered flag in the crown jewel event of the season. The Napa Auto Parts 100 is won by Bobby Henry. Gary Wiltrout comes home in the 2nd spot. Neil Brown in 3rd. Mark Catone wrestles away the 4th spot, and Richard Mitchell will complete the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 100 green flag laps of racing action. And he's out of the car and can hear you. The Napa Auto Parts 100 winner for 2004 is Bobby Henry. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you, I wanted this is for Tracy Keller. I mean, we're all thinking about him, and this is definitely for him.
Well, Bobby Henry, did you know during the off-season that you would be racing here at Motordrome Speedway each and every week?
No, I didn't know it up to a month ago. You know, Neil asked me to run this car, and it's a good car, and I jumped at the chance. I mean, they work on the car, you know, every day, and I knew it was a top-notch equipment, and all the congratulations go to those guys right there, man. All I did was steer it.
This is your first win here in 2004, but you do have other victories in the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. As a season, sum it up for us so far now with this victory added to your resume.
It's been a good year. We're leading the points currently up at Jennerstown, and I can't complain, but knock on wood, I don't want to talk about it too much.
Now here in the Napa Auto Parts 100, things were not entirely your way as you lost the lead briefly there in the early stages.
Yeah, the thing, it was a little tight at the start, and it came to me as the race went. The brake pedal was fading there at the end. I was glad it was over when it was, you know. But everything worked out real good.
Headed into what appeared to be the thickest lap traffic of the entire event, a caution flag spared you. How do you think the lap traffic would have played out, in your favor or against you with Wiltrout on your back bumper?
No, I was glad to see that caution at that point. It happened a couple times, actually, I think, since we caught the lap traffic, the caution come out. But I got to get these guys over here, and they need to thank Fewer Motorsports. Come on over, guys. Jim. Need to thank your sponsors and stuff. What? You think?
Wait, don't get...
We'd like to thank Coors Light and Frank Fuhr Motorsports, and hell, it's just good to win with this car. Last Saturday night it was up on the...
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's not his regular ride. You can't blame him for not knowing the sponsors, but he pulls off the victory in the Napa Auto Parts 100. It's Bobby Henry from Connellsville. Got it.
One more last dude.
Now, Bobby, before the photo session gets started, you have another responsibility. As winner of the Napa Auto Parts 100, you are going to be pulling 5 semi-finalists from the group that is assembled here. One of the 5 names in this envelope will leave here tonight with a new Harley-Davidson Sportster, and you're going to do the pull.
Okay.
Envelope number 1.
You gonna do it one at a time?
He's going to pull one at a time. Daryl from Napa Auto Parts making sure everything's official. We've got our first envelope. We've got number 2. He's going deep into Red Miley's hands for envelope number 3.
Number 3.
Number 4 coming from the bottom of the pile. And the 5th and final candidate in the unmarked envelopes has been drawn. Now we're going to open those envelopes and announce the winners, the finalists.
We're going to invite all the finalists out on the track, take a picture, and as soon as we're done with the photo session.
Go ahead to the photos. Bobby Henry is going into the photo session now, part of the Victory Lane celebration for the Napa Auto Parts 100. And immediately following this photo session, we will be calling all 5 of the finalists down here to the front straightaway. All 5 will have their photos taken with the winning car and driver, and they will be given the keys, one of which will start up the Harley-Davidson Sportster from Napa Auto Parts. Okay.
Yeah, tell them to bring a bike down here.
Actually, once again, for all the finalists for the Harley-Davidson motorcycle to be given away, report down here to the front straight. We'll gather all of you behind Bobby Henry's winning race car for a quick photograph. And then 5 of you will reach the level of 7. Joining in the photo session with Neil Brown is, car owner Neil Brown with winning driver Bobby Henry, and all the folks you see gathered behind the number 11 machine were the finalists as notified by Napa Auto Parts.
49 sponsors of Napa Auto Parts in Western Pennsylvania, and also the Napa Auto Care Centers that support the Napa Auto Parts day in and day out. They employ ASE certified technicians and offer. We don't have that many. Somebody's going home disappointed. All right, we're
To hold the winning keys here.
We're going to have, hang on to... Nick. Aston. We must be near that fence. Julianne Lynn Puckett. The girls are doing good here tonight, huh? I might be looking for a girlfriend here, huh? Next contestant. Henry Stoff. Henry Stoff. Hey Henry, would you like to drive that bike home? And our 5th finalist. Have a drum roll here. Nick, you're a drummer. Carla Collins.
Last, first, to try these.
Okay, Carla.
All in front of the bike park.
Oh, let's all get in front of the bike and take a picture here.
Everybody else can say, oh, yeah.
Listen, we want to thank all the people that didn't win tonight, but thank you for coming out tonight and supporting Napa, and you did have a chance of winning that Harley. Thanks very much for your business. Carla was number 5. Who was number 4?
Gentleman who's next.
Yeah, Henry. Pull them off. Carla's the first to try this?
Okay, it's not it then. Nope. Okay, Carlos, you want to
Okay, the next one to try is going to be Henry. Whoa, this is getting exciting. Julianne. You guys don't want to trade keys with each other, do you? Goes in one turn. Down to 2. Do you guys want to make a deal with each other or anything? Okay, the next one. Brenda. I think she snapped the key off. Mike? Oh! Mike McFarland, grand prize winner of the Sportster. Mike, on behalf of the Napa Auto Cares, Napa Auto Parts,
Thank you very much.
MOTORDROME, Serini, Froggy, thanks a lot. Congratulations, Mike.
Hey, Mike, let me get a picture by your bike. Hold it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hershey's Kissmobile making a couple of fast laps around the MOTORDROME Speedway. We told you about this vehicle a little bit earlier tonight. They were here this evening not only handing out samples of the fantastic Hershey's chocolate, but raising money for the Children's Miracle Network. Toward their goal of $1 million in donations to the Children's Miracle Network this season, MOTORDROME Speedway welcomes the Hershey's Kissmobile. Hope you got a chance to try some of the free samples, the best chocolate in the world made right here in Pennsylvania, and the Kissmobile making its first hot laps around the MOTORDROME Speedway. One more salute from MOTORDROME Speedway to the Hershey's Kissmobile. Wow, they're really on it. Get a stopwatch on that thing. I was joking about hot laps, but wow, are they moving. Enter that in the American Flyer division. Let's see what happens. division, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts, takes the green flag for their feature event. We have completed lap number 1 of the 8-lap feature for the Advance Auto Parts American Flyers. 3 wide the action as contact made heavily in turns 1 and 2. Leader, number 32 of Dan Jordan, another Connellsville, Pennsylvania driver, taking out to the early lead here. In the 48 machine runs a distant second here on lap number 2. 34 of Aaron Minjock is in the 3rd spot. Then we see the 50 of points leader Ken Dukic. And then it's the 6 machine of William Bone. This division among the most competitive each week here at Motordrome Speedway, and we're seeing a rare, healthy lead. Seldom does an American Flyer driver have the kind of lead that Dan Jordan does at the present time. That Cavalier is flying around the Motordrome Speedway here tonight. Challenge coming here for the 3rd position as we see the 50 machine of Dukic, another Connellsville driver, challenging to the outside of Minjock in the 34. Watch the 50 car close the gap on the back straightaway here. And then Minjock, hanging on the bottom side of the speedway, gains a couple car lengths in and out of the corners. He may be challenging for 2nd here just shortly as Jordan is running away with the feature. A rare and unusual occurrence here in the American Flyer division. Gary Ankrum gets tagged from behind in the battle for 2nd. Minjock and Ankrum both keep him rolling in the 28 car. Driven by Larry Vance, goes from about 6th to 2nd in a quarter of a lap. That's the kind of action we're used to seeing up front in this division, but Jordan has no idea what's going on behind him as he gets the signal for 2 laps to go. Larry Vance in the 28 car from Murraysville, Pennsylvania, gained about 5 spots in 1 corner. He brought with him the 5 machine of Bill Oldham, who had a stellar heat race earlier tonight. 28 machine of Vance started last in the field, and he's 2nd, making him about a deadlock for the Valvoline Motor Oil Hard Charger Award for tonight. White flag waving now over Jordan. His sponsors include U Pullet and Brooks Automotive. Working the final corner with plenty of racing room in front of and behind him, a dominating, convincing victory for the 32 machine of Dan Jordan. Coming home in 2nd, it's Larry Vance after starting last, and Bill Oldham in the 5 car hangs on to 3rd over the 50 of points leader Dukic. Completing the top 5, it'll be the 34 of Aaron Minjock. Out of the car, he can hear you now. How about a nice round of applause for Dan Jordan? Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Boy, we're trying to make it a Connellsville sweep here tonight, as all the drivers from Connellsville doing a heck of a job tonight.
Yeah, everybody's doing real well tonight.
A chance to thank all the sponsors on your car, because you had a lead like I have never seen in this division. You were all by yourself out there where they were beating and banging about 300 yards behind you.
Well, usually I'm in the back, and it's a lot easier when you're out front and you don't have to race against other cars, so you can run smooth laps. It's easier in these cars, so I'd like to thank Napa too for sponsoring the race.
And how about the sponsors on your car and the crew that helped you to get here tonight?
Brooks Automotive Group, Seacrest U Pullet, Bob Costle's U Pullet, and Mongel's Car Care. And I'd also like to thank the fans for sticking around watching us tonight.
You put on a whale of a clinic for the division. Thank you very much, and congratulations on a feature win for Dan Jordan. Hey, one comment. I know it's been on the minds of everybody here tonight, and Dan, you had a few words?
Yeah, well, I hope Tracy Keller's doing real well. He was in a real bad accident, so he's one of the drivers that we all help out, and we just hope everybody keeps him in their prayers.
Great sentiments as we bring The final feature race to the staging area. We've got one more event left this evening on Napa Auto Parts Night. Stick around for the Charger division. Last week they put on a whale of a show, and we're about to get going for their final feature of the night. Starting on the pole for this one in the 04, it's Bob Shipp from Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania. Outside, it's Scott Aiello in car number 24. Inside row number 2, one of the drivers involved in a late race lead battle incident last week, Mike Lemley from Dawson, Pennsylvania. Then outside of him, we see the 50 machine driven by Jeff Giles of Vanderbilt, Pennsylvania. Inside row number 3, we find the 95 of Jim Stokes from West Newton. Outside of him, the 51 of Rick Broadwater. Then it's back to the 65 car of Scott Margie from West Newton, Pennsylvania. And then we find Andrew Butthead Kostelnik from North Braddock, PA. Making up the final row, it's the driver of car number 19, Scott Bowman, and last week's winner in the 17, Dave McManus from Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. Green flag waves over the Yellow Book Chargers. Final feature of the night here on Napa Auto Parts Night. Points leader in the 04, Bob Shipp, a 4-time feature winner, takes off with the early lead. Scott Aiello was one of the leaders of last week's feature, but so was everybody else in the field, it seemed like. Aiello taking the 24 car to the bottom to defend second place against the 4 of Mike Lemley and the 50 of Giles. Contact made in mid-pack. Everybody keeps it going the right way. The 95 machine driven by Jim Stokes and the 51 of Broadwater coming together, and hopefully they're not going to return that favor as they head down the back straight. Challenge for the second position, 3-time feature winner Mike Lemley to the inside of Scott Aiello, and he may be bringing along the 50 of Giles. Giles and Aiello side by side for third. Both have yet to see a checkered flag this season. Meanwhile, the front 2 drivers among the dominant feature winners, the 04 of Bob Shipp and the 4 of Mike Lemley. Lemley was involved in a late race incident that found him disqualified from the event as a lead challenge grew ugly on, I believe, the final lap in last week's feature in turn 3 and 4. Contact in turn 1 and 2. Butthead Kostelnik gets into the rear of the 95 of Jim Stokes, and Stokes cannot refire the car as he sits at the inside wall in turn 2. 50 of Giles there in the 3rd spot, and Aiello, both of those drivers seeking their first victory, as is Rick Broadwater. Last week, Dave McManus in the 17 car came from the tail twice. He started scratch in this one, and he's worked his way into the top 5, moving around Broadwater. Dave McManus starting positions totally irrelevant to the 17 car as he cracks the top 5 from the rear again this week. With 5 laps completed, a challenge for the lead could be developing between Lemley and the 4 and Shipp in the 04. Lemley's 4 car awful strong in turns 3 and 4. He slipped up just a bit in turns 1 and 2 last time, but this time he keeps it right where he needs to and draws closer to the back bumper of Shipp. McManus, who had cracked the top 5, is now challenging for 4th position on Scott Aiello in the 24 car. Working on lap 7, and the leaders nose to tail again with barely a car length separating them. McManus with his 2nd back straight challenge on Aiello. This time he gets it a little further underneath the 24, but still can't complete the pass for 4th. Halfway through this feature event for the Yellow Book Chargers, Lemley close enough that time to put a little black mark on the 04. last week, contact was the word in the lead battle. Let's see what happens this time through. Still enough time for patience to be a virtue, as Lemley now just a few feet off the rear bumper this time of Ship. Leader breaks the back end loose. Ship nearly dirt tracks the car to the front straight. Lemley had to back off to avoid plowing into the back of the machine, but now Lemley has a run to the bottom side coming out of turn 2. Down the back straight, he's got only the bumper underneath the 04. Wisely, he takes it away. That was very gentlemanly. We didn't see that much in last week's feature from any of the drivers. Ship holding off Lemley. Only 2 laps remaining and the lead battle heats up. Lemley realizes that he's not going to get a clear shot on the bottom, so he takes the 4 car to the high side. See if he stays there through turn number 3. Indeed he does, trying to take the lead in the upper groove of the speedway. White flag waving this time. It looks like it could be Ship's race as long as the car doesn't break loose on him one more time. He might have this one. Lemley now changing grooves again to the bottom, pulling right up to the back bumper. These are the final 2 corners of the Yellow Book Charger feature. Closing out Napa Auto Parts night with a lead battle to the wire. Lemley in the 4, looking underneath, almost making contact to the line, and Ship will win it. We welcome you back here next week when the Chitwood Thrill Show joins the weekly racing program of the NASCAR Dodge Series. Hope to see you back here each and every Friday night as the championship battles come down to the wire. Dave Kohler returns as your announcer next week.
We'll miss you, Mike.
Why is there a car coming in? Oh, okay. He's the current points leader in the division and collects another victory. Let's hear it for Bob Ship. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Had things pretty much your way tonight. One big bobble. We saw the car fishtail out of turn number 4 in the late stages of the race. Fortunately, the second place guy had to check up.
Yeah, I've been trying to get the car to stop pushing all year. I finally started to get it a little bit loose, and I was running it hard, and it got a little squirrely on me. Just kind of had to back out of it and get back into it real quick to try and get a hold of it.
You're the leading championship contender right now. Last week's feature was really hairy with all kinds of madness going on. This was the kind of race that can really put you in a solid control of that point standing.
I'm just out here to have fun, I mean, if I wreck the car, I wreck the car. Or, if I win the rest of the races for the rest of the year, it doesn't matter to me. I just like racing cars.
There he is. He's a race driver at heart, and tonight he's a winner. Congratulations once again to Bob Ship.